Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Rani Group of Companies Q1 FY22 earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Binay Sarda from Christensen Advisory. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Sarda.
Thank you, Neerav. Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to the Q1 FY22 earnings call of the Rani Group. To take you through the results and answer your questions today, we have the management team from Rani Group, represented by Mr. L. Ganesh, Chairman and Managing Director, Rani Holdings, Mr. Harish Lakshman, Vice Chairman, Mr. P. A. Padmanabhan, President Finance and Group CFO, Mr. Siva Chandrasekaran, Executive Vice President of Secretariat and Legal Services, and Mr. Jay Anand, CFO of Rani Holdings. Please note that we have sent you the press release and also we have sent you the presentation link of the deck. In case any of you have not received the presentation, you could look it in our website or even the BSE. Or you could also write to us and we'll be happy to send the detailed earning presentations over to you. Before we start, I would like to say that everything that is said on this call that reflects any outlook for the future or which can be construed as a forward-looking statement must be viewed in conjunction with the risks and uncertainties that we face. These uncertainties and risks are included but not limited to what we mentioned in the prospectus and subsequent in the annual report which you can find on our website. With that said, now I hand over the call to Mr. Ganesh. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vinay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for dialing in. I would like to welcome you all to this teleconference. Hope all of you are staying safe and healthy. You have seen our Q1 FY22 performance highlights of the group companies, which is posted on the website. I would like to provide a few comments on the industry before handing it over to Harish. Q1 was a rather testing quarter with us weathering the wave 2 in India of the COVID-19. As we started the year on a positive note, our plants were doing nearly 100% plus in terms of capacity utilization and achieving plans. However, suddenly in May, as you know, the COVID problem started in a big way, the second wave, and shutdown, lockdowns, partial restrictions, etc. started affecting, and the level of activity came down sharply. In June, there was some recovery, although not fully. And in going forward, what we find is from July, things are much better and the recovery seems to be on its way. Some of our plants built stocks during the first quarter because we could not switch our plans in such an uncertain environment, and also because commodity prices are going up, we thought it may not be a bad idea to build some inventory. The export demand was good, and this was despite some impact due to semiconductor chip shortage, and otherwise the export could have been even slightly better. The wave 2 resultant lockdown has slowed down the economic recovery. Various agencies have moderated their growth forecast for India. The wave 2 was different compared to wave 1 on multiple counts. The national lockdown in wave 1 was a state-specified lockdown in wave 2. This had its own challenges. Manufacturing continued in wave 2, catering to exports, but with many on-the-ground challenges. The pent-up demand and low level of inventory after wave 1 triggered a strong recovery, whereas recovery post-wave 2 seems to be more gradual as we look at it today. In terms of inflation of vehicle prices, the fuel cost increase very sharp in the last couple of months seems to be having a negative influence on vehicle purchase. However, this has to be seen. In addition, the commodity price inflation is also affecting the businesses. We are working on recovering from various customers, but as you know, there is always a time lag. RBI seems to be extending its accommodative stand to help to revive and sustain the growth in the economy. We hope there will be no severe third wave thanks to the vaccination coverage and better preparation by all the state governments. On the export front, the risk is further due to the impact of semiconductor chip shortage. We hope that it will not worsen further from what it is today. Subject to these risks, we hope to see a good recovery in the economy and the auto industry. I now hand it over to Harish for his comments and review of the Q1 performance.
Thank you, Mr. Ganesh. Good afternoon, everyone. As Mr. Ganesh mentioned, Q1 was a challenging quarter for India and for the entire industry due to the strong second wave of coronavirus. This, coupled with the impact of the semiconductor shortage that was felt, definitely pulled back the growth momentum of the automotive segment, that too coming from a very strong Q4 of last year. I will now give a quick overview on the quarter one performance of each of our businesses, starting with Rane Madras. The hydraulic business sees continued traction and we achieved the highest production of cylinders. The light metal castings business in India continues to win new business, and we have recently won a new business worth about 43 crores. The US subsidiary has improved the operational performance and they are experiencing a ramp up in the volumes with the overall improved demand environment in the US, as well as some of the new business kicking in. With the operational improvements, new orders, and the emerging demand for aluminium components in the auto industry, particularly due to the electrification, the Rane Madras board has decided to stay invested in this business for strategic reasons.
तुम्ही ज्या व्यक्तीशी बोलत आहात त्याने तुमच्या कॉलला होल्डवर.
Coming to REVL, the market decline due to wave 2 impacted some of the operational improvement initiatives. Nevertheless, we continue to prioritize on cost reduction and achieve break-even at lower volumes. The company continues to focus on enhancing the non-auto customers, and today the non-auto customers contribute 22% of sales, and we are hopeful of enhancing our order book further in this segment. Rane Brake Lining, due to the lockdown, the proportion of aftermarket segment to the sales dropped significantly. This impacted the product mix and resulted in a drop in profitability. RBL is continuing to enhance its presence in the export market, and we are recently expanded to Saudi Arabia and also introduced new products in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Coming to Rane TRW, we continue to enjoy dominant share with the domestic customer for the steering gear products. However, the company is significantly dependent on the CV segment, and the CV segment sales continues to remain muted. On the occupant safety side, the exports accounted for almost 67% of the revenue for this quarter. We also won about 78 crores of new export business to our partner ZF. Rane NSK, we have secured some new business with Maruti Suzuki for an upcoming UV program. The plant also struggled to meet demand due to some labor availability in the month of April and May. With the relaxation on restrictions post the wave 2, we are seeing favorable recovery in the demand environment in India. The export demand continues to remain robust, as Mr. Ganesh said, except for the semiconductor shortage. And we hope that wave 3 and the resultant lockdown doesn't derail the growth momentum. The commodity price increase is another concern, and our teams are working for the recovery. We continue to prioritize the safety of our employees and our focus on cost management to navigate these challenging times. With these remarks, we will now open for any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The first question is from the line of Ashwin Agarwal from Akash Ganga Investments. Please go ahead.
Good evening. Sir, you mentioned in your opening remarks that for strategic reasons, the board of Rane Madras has decided to continue with the investment in the subsidiary in the US. Could you highlight by when do you expect, because of the new orders, the company to break even at the EBITDA level, and also the 3.8 million which we received as stimulus, whether any stimulus is expected even for this year or there would be no stimulus from the US government?
Yes, Ashwin, I'll answer. Yes, the second question, yes, there is some more stimulus that we are likely to receive in the remaining part of this financial year. So we are still hopeful of receiving that from the government. As far as the position of the company, as I explained even in the last call and this call, I think the operational turnaround has, there has been significant improvement that's happened in the last 2 years. And the order book position is also improving. So as a result, we are not forecasting, any further cash loss in the subsequent years. So, there will not be any significant cash loss. So therefore, what I'm saying is we are expecting us to be EBITDA positive next year.
Do you also expect to win further orders from the US subsidiary as the outlook is improving there?
Yes, it is improving.
Okay, all the best. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Raja Kumar B, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Thanks for taking my question. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah. Sir, just a couple of questions. So the first on the Rani US subsidiary, I just wanted to know what would be the projected cash support we would be required to give for the next 2 years till they become cash breakeven.
So we don't have a clear number. Definitely there will be some cash support that will be needed from India. But however, all of this cash support will be going towards either capex, which will fund the growth of the business, or to repay some debt that is there in the books. But the numbers, I don't have a clear number as yet. But if you maybe in the region of about $10 million over the next couple of years.
Sir, this is after baking in the projected the support that you will be getting from the US government. You mentioned that some more incentive we are going to get.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Sir, the second question is on the warranty provision in the NSK JV. I just want to know what is the unutilized provision as at the end of June, and also do you expect any further provisioning in the current and subsequent quarters? And also if you can give more color as to you must have had some more history or some more claims that would have come in between the last call and now. So if you could give more color on this, sir.
Yeah. So the unutilized credit available in the books is about 75 crores in that region. And as far as future is concerned, as I had indicated in the last call, we are continuing to monitor the situation. We believe that we had provided for everything, but we cannot say for certainty for another 6 months. We have to observe how the reduction is taking place in the field, and the decision will be taken based on that.
Okay. So the 75 crores is as at the end of June, right?
Yeah, as of June 30th.
Okay. Sir, can I ask one more question or should I come back in the queue?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sir, the third question is, I just want to know, you mentioned about inventory stocking because of, the steel price increases, you have stocked more inventory in the June quarter. So do you also see similar, behavior happening at the OEM level also, that they also order more from you, from suppliers like Rane Group? Basically, I want to know if the sales that we are seeing is going to kind of tone down as the quarters come by.
Well, in terms of inventory, what I meant was there are two things. One is the quarter itself was so uncertain, unlike wave one where there was a total lockdown. Here, it was left to the states. So some of our plants worked, some of our customers were working, some of our supply chain was working. So the whole environment was slightly more complex than the previous year lockdown. So therefore, we could not respond so much to cut inventory or take decisions. So what we felt was, since the commodity prices are anyway going up, it is quite safe to push up the inventory a bit, although it will consume some working capital. We are very confident that starting Q2, it will get consumed. And that is happening. The schedules from customers from July has been very good, and that is happening. In terms of customers, I don't think so, because the inventory at the customer end, as we kind of keep track of that, although we don't have 100% accuracy, and inventory in none of the segments has been very high. So I don't think they have been, because they had to make up and try to build up for the festive season. So I think the ordering is only for that. I don't think there's much of inventory build up at the customer end.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, just one related question. So this current quarter, you said you are almost back to or closer to pre-COVID levels. So is it fair to expect that the current quarter will be, that is the September quarter, will be closer to your Q4 of last financial year?
No, I don't think it will fully come back to the Q4 levels, but definitely it will be close to it.
Both in terms of sales and the EBIT, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was only commenting largely from the sales standpoint, but yes, the EBIT is a automatic flow through as a result of that.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. All the very best.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Sunil Kothari from Unique Portfolio Management Service. Please go ahead.
Thanks a lot. Thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Sunil, may I request you to speak a little louder on your handset?
Yeah. Are you getting my voice now?
Sir, sounding low.
Okay. Let me try. Basically, what I'm trying to ask Mr. Ganesh and Haris is, sir, as we strategically decided to remain invested in US subsidiaries, we are planning to invest for further capex and expansion, maybe around $10 million over a long term. So, would you like to talk something more about this strategic thinking? What are the possibilities? What we can achieve from this investment and this decision? That will be really helpful. I understand in the past it has taken a little longer, but hopefully it should turn around positively. So if you can throw some light on your thought process and your strategy towards US subsidiaries.
Sure, Sunil. See, if you recollect, the fundamental strategy of why we expanded into North America was because of the growing market requirement there.
Right.
One is aluminium content on vehicle, and the die-casting aluminium content continues to increase per vehicle, and with more electrification, it gets further accelerated. So that means an EV vehicle has even more aluminum die-cast parts compared to a non-EV vehicle. So Rane's fundamental strategy was to get into, continue to grow our die-casting business. Even though it is capital intensive, we see continued growth opportunity there, and therefore the entering the North American market was the strategy. And that strategy by itself, nothing has changed. In fact, if at all anything, the aluminium content is only going up further thanks to electrification, because 4 years ago none of us imagined electrification will happen so fast. The second was, we purchased consciously a distressed asset, and we thought that we can turn it around in 3 years. And we will also get a lot of new business by this acquisition. Both those assumptions went wrong. I mean, the operational turnaround today in hindsight, if you look at, instead of 3 years, it has now taken us 5 years. Just to share, 2 years ago, our premium freight bill alone was almost $1 million. Today, last 9 months, it is zero. So operational improvements, while there has been a delay, instead of 3 years, it has taken 5 years. The new order books, unfortunately, also we thought that we will get new business more quickly. That also didn't happen, and maybe that is also partly to do with with the way the operations in the plant were, and maybe customers they didn't see enough improvement. But now that has also changed. So if you go back to 5 years ago in 2016 when we bought the company, the fundamental strategy, nothing has changed. What changed was, there was some delay in our assumptions in terms of operational turnaround and growing the business. And in that, we must recognize out of these last 5 years, 2 of those years are almost 2 years is because of COVID, which significantly impacted the business last year. And as you can see, last year, while the losses were close to $10 million, today you can see some of the government incentives that were there by the government to support, that is also slowly coming through. So we must look at the especially last year loss, keeping in mind the COVID situation and the government support that has come for that. But clearly, government support is one-off. That is not going to keep on coming and saving the business. But we believe, as we told a few years ago, that with this operational improvement and with the new business coming in, we are seeing, EBITDA positive, in the next financial year, and there is further opportunity for growth. So that is why the board, after a lot of deliberation, decided that taking any other decision of selling the business, closing down, etc., will hurt the company even more. So it is in the interest of the company to stay invested for the near future.
Great, sir, for detailed explanation. One more thing is, looking at our technical capabilities, standalone I'm talking now, and our size, almost we are doing now 300 crore plus revenue, but we are not able to reach a respectable double-digit EBITDA margin. So would you like your thought? I'm not asked for any commitment, but will it be possible with our product range and our capability, cost reduction and opportunity to maintain and sustain double-digit EBITDA margin, maybe over wherever the feasible time frame?
Yeah, your question again is overall RML, correct?
Yes, standalone.
Yeah, standalone. Yeah. No, the answer is yes. I mean, I think if the market was supporting us and we sort out all our problems, whether it is capacity underutilization in the die casting business in India, and we manage our operations well, our commodity prices, we are able to manage with our customers, growing our export portfolio. Definitely a double-digit EBITDA for Rane Madras is something that we need to perform. So I think it is various circumstances that has prevented us from achieving that for the last 2 years. But I think the entire team in the company across all the divisions are working towards this.
Great, sir. And sir, last question on, since long we are proven globally very competitive in some of our product range, like rack and pinion, ball joints and all. So are you seeing now really sizable and scalable inquiries, orders, and maybe execution over a time? Your thought process on exports opportunity because of this global supply chain realignment, some consolidation, some thoughts on those will be really helpful.
No, definitely I think exports continues to grow. Our order booking pipeline is looking very good, and I think even this quarter you will see that the export business has grown substantially compared to last year same quarter.
Yes.
And it will only, this kind of growth is something that we see as maintainable.
Okay. Great, sir. Wish you good luck. Thanks very much. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Raja Kumar, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir, thanks for the follow-up. Sir, you mentioned that we may have to invest almost $10 million in Rani US subsidiary for the next 2 years. I just want to know, how will you fund that? Will Rani Madras be able to generate so much cash internally and then fund it, or are you planning to sell any of the non-core assets of Rani Madras?
No, as I said, again, this 10 million is just a number. I don't have the exact number, but we will spend that kind of amount over the next few years. As far as the funding is required, definitely we are not planning to sell any non-core assets. So it will be through other means, combination of internal generation as well as debt.
Okay, great. And as regards to Rani NSK, how is the working capital situation there? Because last quarter you mentioned because of the warranty claims there is pressure on the working capital. So are there any funding requirements for that JV?
No, the working capital is under pressure, you're right. But since the sales has improved this month and collections have improved, we are managing. And also partners, NSK, kind of helping us out. We got a recent increase from one of the Japanese banks in terms of working capital limits. So we are able to manage, but yes, we would like to be much more comfortable, but that might take another 6 to 9 months.
Okay, sir. And lastly, sir, last call also I asked this question. So any thought on consolidating Rani Group entities into one single entity?
As mentioned many times before, this is something that we keep looking at, and I'm sure at the appropriate time, we will, when we are clear on the way forward, we will definitely share with the shareholders.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks for the patience.
Thank you very much. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Manish Goyal from Enam Holdings Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sir, on the margins front, just like we are witnessing commodity inflation and then lot of supply chain issues. So are we able to get price hikes from our OEM customers and meanwhile are able to pass it in the aftermarket? Do you think that exercise we have been able to achieve in the Q1 and going forward?
Yeah. So by and large, yes, Manish, we have been able to get commitments from our customers in terms of absorbing all the commodity price increases. But there will always be that lag effect. There are many customers. There is already a back-to-back arrangement. They will take in the next quarter, they will adjust the price based on the previous quarter commodity increase. So that is one standard model that exists with many OEMs. With some OEMs where there is no back-to-back contract, we negotiate, and even those negotiations we've been by and large successful. But net, there will always be a lag. And similarly, that lag will also become favorable, as and when if the commodities price stops softening, we will only pass on to the customers the following quarter. So over a long term, it gets kind of evened out. As far as aftermarket is concerned, yes, across all the group companies, we have passed on the price the price increases to the aftermarket. So revisions have taken place. Of course, many of them happened during Q1 when the sales was poor due to the lockdown. But we have done that.
Sure, sir. And sir, on margins front, specifically what even Sunil was asking on Rane Madras, now with the domestic die casting getting enough business and kind of expected to operate on a full capacity in the current year. So overall then definitely, and also we are seeing very good exports pick up in the Rane Madras. Even the annual report has been talking about very strong order book and prospects building up. So ideally, it should not be like quite challenging to achieve double-digit margin in near future, right, sir?
I mean, overall, definitely yes, Manish. But as Mr. Ganesh and I also mentioned, the only headwind we are seeing, the problem with the export business is we are in the short term, we are getting more impacted because of the semiconductor shortage, which was unanticipated. Actually, our performance in Q1 would have been slightly better, and even in Q2, we are losing out on sales because of this chip conductor shortage, which is more noticeable when you are exporting to European market and US market compared to even India.
Okay. And sir, in Rane Engine Valve, would it be possible to share as to, like even last call you mentioned that we are looking to increase non-automotive business. So what is the percentage in total revenue which is non-automotive, and what we aspire in probably next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, so as I mentioned already today, as we speak today, 22% is already non-automotive, which is all off-highway power generation sector, things like that. So it is already 22%. I think we are aspiring to grow that to about 28%. So around 28%.
Okay. Probably in next couple of years?
Yes, 3 years.
Right. And sir, would it be possible to share Rane TRW revenue breakup between, say, steering products and occupant safety products, sir?
Yeah. Steering was 105 crores.
As compared to last quarter, how much?
22 crores, 22.4 crores.
Okay.
And occupants was 159 or 160 crores compared to 59 last year.
Okay. And total exports, sir, in Rane TRW?
Total is 107 plus.
Sorry?
Yeah, 1 second. About 114.
Okay. And you have already shared that exports accounted for 67% of the occupant safety. So fine, I'll work out those numbers. So sir, why not? Is it possible to like share this number, because now occupant safety is a significantly large portion. Maybe if you can share the revenue breakup of steering and occupant safety in the presentation itself, so it becomes a bit easier for us to monitor how things are growing, because exports over here is growing very strongly. So that helps us to kind of not always ask the question, sir, in the quarterly call. And also one last question on like annual report also specifically talks a lot about growing exports as a group. Like we are aiming for roughly almost between 25 to 30%. So which are the companies which will be, no doubt we are seeing Rane TRW is doing well. So, and probably Rane Madras. So how do we see exports growing as a whole, as a group going forward, sir?
Yeah. I mean, as your first point, Manish, we will definitely review about sharing the steering and occupant this thing. And we'll come back on that. Thank you. No, the export, definitely Rane TRW and Rane Madras are the key two main companies which is driving all the international sales, followed by Rane Engine Valves. and also REVL, obviously the base is also lower. Rane brake lining has just started. We are spending quite a bit of business development as well as some engineering and research R&D money towards enhancing exports. But that will take another, maybe 2-3 years before we can see the results.
Okay. And sir, on just one more product, like on manual steering in Rane NSK, how is the progress on that product? And it was anticipated that we likely Indian operation to become a sourcing base for NSK. So any development on manual steering, sir?
Manual column, yeah, there is some work.
Manual column, sorry.
Yeah, some work that is going on, and we are in early stages. There is some, we are seeing some opportunities to supply to Europe, but it will all be in the 50 crore range. So gradually it will build up.
Okay. Fine, sir. Thank you so much.
Manish, I had one question for you. When you look, since you're asking for steering and occupant restraint separately as a company, when you compare Rane TRW in the industry, is there any peer that you look at who's comparable to Rane TRW?
Not really, sir, because ideally the portfolio what Rane TRW has in the seat belt and airbags, on the listed entity we are not able to have a comparable because we have both steering and occupant safety, whereas ZF, which is listed, is only the steering gear part and is owned by Bosch. So anyway, sir, I will definitely look into it and get back to you, sir.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. Next question is from the line of Sunil Kothari from Unique Portfolio Management Service. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity again. Sir, just one of your thoughts on, we are hearing from many auto component companies that there is a very growing and good opportunity happening because of everybody's auto manufacturers focus is on now EV, so they don't want to do much development or R&D work or the manufacturing work on IC engine related products. So can it be a possibility and opportunity for us for maybe for next 3-5 years? Any of your thought process or anything should we understand from you whether this is a possibility for us or not?
Yeah. So I'll answer the question in 2 parts, Sunil. One is, as you know, other than Rane engine valves in the Rane group, every other product is there in electric vehicle. And there is a lot of focus that the business development teams of all the companies, including Rane Madras, etc., is looking at targeting specifically business in electric vehicles. And I can assure you that we have already booked a lot of business, export business for electric vehicle platforms. So that target and focus is there. Trying to latch ourselves on into more EV vehicles because the growth will be even faster. The second is whether we can do some other products through a portfolio expansion for electric vehicle. That by and large will probably only be through an acquisition process. And as you know, given the performance of the group in the last 2 years and the overall financial position, there is nothing in the immediate, but once we achieve around and improve the underlying profitability, definitely we will be looking at more opportunities.
Right, sir. Thanks a lot for this clarification. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A reminder to all the participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Rajkumar V, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir, my question is on the telematics. So just wanted to know how big is the opportunity, because I see a lot of auto companies getting into the services space. Even if you take Tricol, I heard that they're almost having 300 software engineers, to focus on the EV and the ADAS side. So is Rani looking at those spaces as well?
Yeah. So right now, the company that we have through Rani Holdings, they are focused on telematic solutions for the transportation, logistics sector, as well as mining sector, etc. We are not directly doing solutions as being a supplier to OEMs for their vehicle content. Now, as far as the telematics in the logistics and transportation sector, there is a lot of opportunity. Clearly, we are seeing a lot of opportunity, but the competition is also quite intense because the market, there are many players, and obviously there are different types of sectors. Even in the e-commerce boom, there is a lot of opportunity, but also a lot of players. So we are working on capturing, trying to get few more enterprise customers who can generate revenues for us. But in terms of doing something on ADAS, etc., for vehicle manufacturers, this company is not yet fully equipped for that, and that is not something that we roll out in the future.
Yeah. Sir, given your experience of many decades of experience, so would it not be good if you pair with some of the software companies, because most of the software companies are into this space of ADAS and all that. So even if you are not able to do it on your own, I'm sure you can be of greater help, and and that can be also an avenue for generating revenue for the company.
Sure. No, we'll definitely look at it.
Okay.
Thank you. A reminder to all the participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. A reminder to all the participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. As there are no further questions, I will now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
So, thank you very much for your time. And as we said, things are kind of looking up now. We are hoping that there will not be a big severe third wave, and we'll be able to manage the economy and the industry will therefore recover better. Exports, subject to this problem of semiconductor chips, we have good order book position, so we look forward to a better quarter in Q2. Look forward to seeing you later. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Rani Group of Companies, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.